What's going on, everybody? We are back with the midweek show, Views from Section 400. We're here to shoot the shit. I'm your host, Matt Colin. My other host Brian Hauk.
Good.
We do not have a guest this week. Jack is actually finally making a return to the pod after a small hiatus due to personal reasons. We will leave it at that. But welcome, Jack. Welcome back, Jack. It's
Good to
good to
be
see you,
back.
man. It's good to see you, man. What's been going on?
Oh man, it's good to be back. I've just been so dialed in. I actually was out in London for 2 weeks, catching my Jags out there. When I got back, got had to catch up with some work, and I'm happy to be back. But all I'm gonna say is the Jags are shining bright right now. That's why I haven't taken my shades off in about 3 weeks. The Bills, the Falcons, and now the Saints in the Superdome in New Orleans. I mean, three straight. Come on, give it to me, dude. This team is hot.
Yeah, the Jags have definitely looked good. I know Brian and I have been on an anti-Jaguar roll on betting against them, so I think you have us to thank for that. Yeah, I'll just kind of roll right into it. We obviously will address the elephant in the room. The Phillies had a catastrophe, just an absolute catastrophe last night. Blow the 2-0 lead, blow the 3-2 lead. I don't know what's worse. They went out to Arizona and they did not come back the same. I think there was some weird Jonathan Gannon voodoo bullshit going on out there. He casted a spell. I don't know what happened, but they went out to Arizona and they didn't come back the same. Yeah, probably about $800 million in payroll of players that went, I think, like 1 for 40 or 1 for 30. So it's not how you're going to win ball games. They relied on the home run too much. D-backs played small ball, stealing bases, kind of testing the Phillies, and the Phillies panicked. They got tense. The pressure got to them. The D-backs were just happy to be there. And when you get in that moment where all the pressure's on one side, and a team's just happy to be there, the team that plays more loose is usually the one that gets it done. So as much as it pains to say, congrats to the D-backs. Like, I'm not going to be a salty, fit the narrative of an asshole Philadelphia fan. I did shave the beard. I do have the stash rocking. I was keeping the beard going for the Phillies run. Obviously, the run's over because the beard's off. So, yeah, got the mustache going. We'll see what kind of magic that brings for the Eagles. If shit totally hits the fan, the mustache will be off very quickly. But yeah, back to the Phillies. Total catastrophe. Like I said, so much money invested into bats to be able to get big hits, and it just didn't come together. So kind of sucks that we gotta wait till spring training and April and go through a whole 162 game grind. Yeah, I don't want to jump over to Brian to have his piece on the Phillies, but Brian, what's your takeaway here, man?
Yeah, I believe after the Phillies beat the Braves, you said that Austin Riley Cancun on three. So I will give you a quick Cancun on three. But I'm ecstatic. This is the first time in the last 5 World Series that a New York Met division rival will not be playing, besides the COVID season, but that doesn't count. So I
No.
finally get to enjoy a World Series. It's been a long time coming. I don't know who I want to call this beard: the Paul Sewald beard, the Miguel Castro beard, the Tommy Pham beard, the Max Scherzer beard, the Jacob DeGrom beard. The former Mets winning the ring. I am so excited. I am ecstatic. I get to enjoy the World Series, enjoy playoff baseball. The Braves are gone. The Phillies are gone. The Marlins are gone. I feel great. I feel phenomenal right now. I cannot feel better. This just saved Auburn's bad season. It saved the Giants' bad season. I'm over the wall.
Yeah,
I'm,
clearly.
I'm happy for you, Hauk, and I'm happy for the Rangers and for the Diamondbacks. I mean, over the past few years, I know they haven't really been the pinnacle of teams, but both of them are very deserving of a spot here. They played incredibly well, in the postseason, and that's really what it's all about, man. Baseball, you got to get hot at the right time. It is a true testament to the postseason and October and soon November ball, man. I'm excited to watch these probably 6 or 7 games. I don't think that the Rangers are going to steamroll them like everyone thinks. I think the Diamondbacks are going to show up like they have, and we're going to get a good competitive series.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm kind of on the other side of that. I think it's going to be an absolute. I mean, it's so hard to say that the Diamondbacks have looked good, but I mean, dude, the Rangers are legit. Like their pitching is top notch. I know in my first original preview of the playoffs, I ripped on their bullpen, rightfully so, because it was entering as a bottom of the AL in ERA, but they've turned it on, and same with the D-backs for that matter. Their bullpen was horrible, and their bullpen just this last series has looked lights out. So it's kind of tough with baseball, man. My last little piece on the Phillies is, hey, look, and this is kind of what the Mets were too, but you can have all this money and all this big payroll and these high caliber guys, and the more talented team to really say, but the Diamondbacks played better, and that's unfortunately what it comes down to. Like, in baseball, you only get 4 at bats, and every at bat's critical, and the Phils didn't make it count. So that's kind of it on that. Brian, I know you want to go into Philadelphia being in shambles more, so I will let you just have a full-on Philly roast tonight.
I mean, I'm a big NBA guy. You know that. We got opening night going on tonight. The night we're recording Wednesday, and the Sixers open the season tomorrow. They will not have their star player, James Harden. Whole offseason saga called Daryl Morey. Just a lot of names. Said he would never play for Daryl Morey, and then he showed up and he was ready to go on the road trip. And the Sixers said a big "fuck you" to him. So they're in shambles. At least you have the birds because the Sixers aren't going to do shit this year. So
Yeah, I'm not really confident at all in the Sixers. It's more of comical for me watching them than actually getting locked in, just because of how often they've choked out in the playoffs. Let's not remember they had a 3-2 lead over Boston last year in the playoffs and completely collapsed on that. Which wasn't surprising. I wasn't surprised at all. I wouldn't say I was expecting it, but I also wasn't expecting them to just shut it down and win 4-2. But yeah, I mean, Harden, extremely public feud with Daryl Morey, pretty much, at least 60-70% of the offseason, just totally public. They didn't even try to keep that behind closed doors. And then, yeah, shows up to practice last week. They're like, dude, you're not going to play on opening night. We know you're usually out of shape and you're old. We're not just going to throw you into, a fast-paced NBA game, while you come in a week late. So, yeah, he showed up to the plane and they said, dude, you're not coming. So now, as if they didn't need any more distraction, they got it. So Sixers will be without Harden for their opening game against the Bucks. Maybe Embiid shows up. He's known to have like a weird game where like he'll just go off and they'll somehow magically win. Not betting on it, not confident in it. I think the new look Bucks, creates a real nice narrative for the national media to just really rag on Embiid, rag on the Sixers, and make Dame Lillard and the new look, Bucks just look amazing. So fully ready for that. Can't wait to see the national media get amped up for that. But yeah, Jack, you got anything on Harden, on the Sixers, on NBA opening night? What do you got, man?
Man, I think what you just said about the narrative that the media is going to want to push, I mean, it just lines up so perfectly for that. I completely endorse what you said there. Only thing I'm going to say on that is, James Harden, in my opinion, was an MVP kind of guy before they changed the foul rule with the flops and let me go to the line because I can, harness the rule or whatever, cheat the rule. I mean, technically he played by the rule, he wasn't cheated, but fuck that dude. All right. He was MVP scoring 36 points a game, half of them from free throws. He hasn't been that guy in a long time. I mean, we've seen him out at the clubs and stuff like that. He's clearly not overweight. He's clearly not motivated, to be MVP type caliber James Harden. As far as I'm concerned, he's washed. The Sixers are washed. Embiid has been, the Sixers have done him wrong. Simple as that.
Yeah.
The process is not. It's not going to work out. I hope Embiid sees better days. Honestly, he deserves it.
Well, yeah. I mean, the process is no longer processing. So I agree, man. Hey, look, as a Philadelphia guy, as a guy on the inside, I have zero faith. I kind of, ever since Simmons, caused the whole scene, I was like pretty much out on the process. But there's still those unrealistic, Sixer truthers who think they got a shot, and James Harden already causing a scene, and bringing in Kelly Oubre on a 1 year deal is not going to solve any problems. So dude, I love Embiid. I loved watching him, but shit, man, they're in some trouble. Yeah. Anyway, glad we got through that. That was probably the most painful 10, 15 minutes of my life that I had to just deal with right there. At least I have the Eagles, but if you watched the TikTok last night, and everybody should go check that out. By the way, views from section 400 on TikTok. We're always posting great content there. Um, you know, I said I'm just waiting for the Eagles to do something to just absolutely, throw me off the deep end. So stay tuned for some type of disaster to happen there. All right. Now we're done with Philadelphia. Sorry you had to endure that. I'm sorry for myself that I had to sit there and deal with that. But yeah, I guess let's kind of roll into football since we were, I guess, kind of on that with the Eagles slightly. Brian, what do you got on college football? You seem pretty irritated.
Yeah, I take a trip down to Auburn with my buddies every year. And this year, we went to Ole Miss game because we said, you know what? Maybe they will finally win a game. We went to Iron Bowl 2 years ago. Tank Bigsby decided to slide down in bounds, and then Bryce Young broke our hearts. Then we went to Penn State, and I'm not even going to talk about that game. And this year, they play Ole Miss, and the defense plays great, and Peyton Thorne can't throw a ball, and they lose by a touchdown. So I am sick of college football. I'm done with Auburn. I'm done with Auburn sports. The basketball team is probably going to blow it. I'm ready to move on to basketball season. College football has grinded my gears so much, and I want to have a lobotomy every time I watch Auburn play. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. So I guess it's what the people want to hear and what they want to see. So college football's not going anywhere anytime soon. Unfortunately, Auburn isn't great, and we still have one more year left of the 4-team playoff, but it does expand next year. So I think that'll bring a lot of hope for people who aren't huge college football people. Obviously, you guys went to a big SEC school, so it's a lot easier for you guys to get attached to that. But I think a lot more of a fan base and a crowd will get drawn in when, because right now in college football, if you're in the top 4 and you lose a game, your pretty much season is over. But now next year, 1 loss, 2 losses, and you still got a shot. And that's all people care about is having a shot. So I think that'll do really well for college football and things like that. But yeah, kind of on the slate this past weekend, we had Penn State, Ohio State. I think Brian and I were on the anti-Penn State train. I might have said maybe Penn State plus 4.5, and that defense is pretty legit. But the offense looked absolutely abysmal. I don't know if it was the play calling, the quarterback's play was horrific. I mean, I don't know how Drew Lohr is a 5-star talent because he surely did not show it. And if you're a 5-star talent, I don't care who you're playing in the country, you got to show up. Um, so he definitely didn't. Ohio State kind of stuck it to him. I get it; they were at home, but hey, look, Penn State has lost games at home against these tougher teams too. So if you want to be that team, you want to be that guy, so to say, you got to win the big games. And they didn't get it done. But that's kind of all I got there. And Jack, what do you got from the weekend, man?
Yeah, that was a tough game for them. I have been pro Penn State for most of the season. I really thought that they were just absolutely rolling, looking good coming into this game. But tough game for them, and Ohio State's like they're just legit, dude. I mean, simple as that. What you said is true. If you want to be that guy, you got to show up and win those big games. Ohio State did. Penn State didn't. I don't think Penn State's done necessarily. I still think that they can bounce back just as a team and as a program. But, to make that top four, it's definitely not looking too good anymore.
Well, yeah, kind of to touch on what you just said, they're going to have to beat Michigan at home. That's a must win. It's a must win.
No
It's a
doubt.
must
No
win.
doubt. You can't lose.
And that's all it is. It's a must win. But yeah, I mean that's kind of what. But here's where Penn State has a letdown, and they'll go and lose who do they play? Indiana this weekend, or I know they got a lesser opponent. Here's where they'll go and lose that game too, and have just an absolute letdown. But I do think they're better than teams in years past to let that happen. But yeah, that Michigan game circled. It's now a must win for them to have any sort of hope at the playoff. And even if they win that game, it's still probably going to be tough for them. But yeah, Brian, what do you got, man?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, one loss and you're kind of cooked in this era of the college football playoff. It's a shame because this would be the year that you would want the 12-team playoff or the 18 playoff, whatever. There's so many
100%.
teams out there, especially this year with Pac-12 and Big Ten. But you talk about Michigan. They're going to have to beat Michigan and Michigan's sign stealing. So that's going to be a big test for them. We'll see what happens with that whole controversy. But yeah, I think they win that game. So I think they're cooked. Our buddy Tommy's cooked. Penn State as a program is cooked. Can't be more happy about it. But yeah, besides that, Caleb Williams lost again. We were big Caleb Williams guys just a couple weeks ago, and he's lost a couple games these last few weeks.
Yeah, we did see that coming though. I mean, USC's defense is abysmal. I mean, I don't know. You guys pick your term, but if you have the probable Heisman on one side, on the other side, absolutely nobody. Absolutely nobody. I mean, he's gonna have to put up 50 points a game in order for them to, win championships. He's got to take over games. And, not to say he hasn't, but it's tough to win a game as one person. You got 11 on each side. So
yeah, I totally agree there. But Utah's defense is good, but their offense is horrendous. It's kind of a total flip. Yeah. That offense is not good, and the fact, I don't know how Caleb Williams didn't outscore them. I know they put up 30 points each, but oh my gosh, man! I mean, that Utah offense is atrocious, and they look somewhat competent.
If you're supposed to be this generational talent, you have to beat the backup quarterback for the Utah team,
100%.
And now they're cooked. If they had any shot, they're not making it now. So
they got no shot. And like you said, you have 2 losses. Maybe you have a shot in the expansion still, but that's going to have to wait till next year. And unfortunately, next year, Caleb Williams will be in a pro uniform. But maybe he's doing the reverse tank, so he doesn't have to go to some of these absolute dog shit organizations that are projected to be at the top of the NFL draft next year. That's something interesting to keep an eye on as the season rolls out. I surely probably would maybe start playing like shit because they're completely out of it, and who the fuck cares? Anyway, yeah, I guess we kind of rolled through that. Anybody else got anything on college football? It wasn't. I mean, those I guess were the two biggest
And
games.
now
Was
Auburn broke my heart. That's really all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I don't want to speak about them ever again.
yeah, I'm cool with not talking about Auburn football either. So
Um, yeah, I mean this weekend we could talk about some of the games, but it's really bad too. We have Louisville and Duke. That's it's kind of the highlight.
Wow.
yeah, I mean, I'm kind of taking a glance right now, and we really don't have much. Duke, Louisville. Maybe Tennessee, Kentucky could be interesting. Probably not.
Yeah.
Colorado at UCLA. Maybe we get something there. I know we'll get some hype. I think Colorado that kind of what would I say? The aroma, the
It's gone.
it's gone. I think they kind of lost that magic. And USC goes and plays the Cal Golden Bears, at the Golden Bears. So that's like Cal and USC. Are they close to each other, both in LA, or
Berkeley and LA. I think Berkeley's pretty close.
it should be somewhat
Sound
decent.
like
So I don't know. I think that'll probably have a decent draw. But again, some game and Georgia, Florida. Who knows? I mean, I know Florida's not great, but it is down
oh,
in the
all right.
swamp. It is down
Yeah.
in the swamp, so that'll obviously have a little hype behind it. But yeah, I mean, some games that are like, hey, look, football's on, watch it, but nothing I'm really getting too amped up for here.
Yeah,
Um,
I just want to say one thing real quick. I want to shout out Nick Saban and Kirby Smart for not being elite this year. First time in a little while that's happened, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm sure when they watch this pod, as they probably have notifications on to watch it immediately, they will appreciate your message. So thanks for that and getting a nice little shout out in there. I honestly agree. I'm glad it's not the same old bullshit every year with those teams. So I tend to agree with you. Like, hey, let's glad we get a little switch up, and like we kind of keep saying with this expansion, I think it'll really create for more, more not only more hype and more fun, but maybe you see some of these top recruits going somewhere else because now they're going to have a shot to play in the big game. So it might it
Also,
might create divide the landscape up a little more.
yeah, I also think that you might see some of these I mean, not that these guys are taking any of these snaps lightly, but I just think you might see some more teams playing through the season and really giving it their all, week in and week out, trying to, maybe sneak into one of those last couple spots. I think everybody's going to have a little bit more hope throughout the season, give it a little bit more effort, if it's even possible. Those guys are working, but yeah, I'm really excited for when they expand it for sure.
Well, one thing that will definitely happen, it might take a few years. We're going to see a lot of better regular season games because now you can afford to lose one. So there's going to be a
Right.
lot of home and home series of some really good programs playing each other, and that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, so I think kind of like we're saying, the college football as a whole is going to take, I think, a pretty massive leap next year when we see the expansion. Yeah, so it is confirmed 12-team expansion. Like we were kind of saying, it will be a massive leap for college football. I think in terms of changing the landscape, and just attracting so many new eyeballs, to that sport. You'll have a lot of years, Sunday only watchers. I think kind of jump on to Saturday and maybe even pick a team they ride with. But I think it creates a whole new dynamic, which is healthy and great because now maybe we'll get 2 days of awesome football instead of just Sundays. But yeah, that's kind of all we got. I don't know if you guys have anything else. I know we got the World Series on Friday. I'm sure I'll have a nice little baseball video preview for the World Series. It's going to be extremely painful to do, but as a media personality in the sports world, it's just something you have to do. Said it will pain me to have to cover the World Series, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it for you guys. Maybe I'll even throw in some free MLB picks for you once some pitching matchups get released and we get closer to that series. But one final thing here. We are approaching the spookiest weekend of the year. It is Halloween weekend. What do you guys got this weekend? Anything fun? You guys getting scary? You guys handing out candy to kids? Now that might sound a little weird, but what do you guys got?
I'm not going to be handing out any candy to any kids with this mustache going on. I don't think that's really appropriate. No, I'm gonna, my Jags are going to Pittsburgh this weekend. I don't like Pittsburgh. It's cold, it's gross, people are unfriendly. I'm gonna go take my talents on vacation this week. Already called in for work. I'll still be available for the pod on Friday. I'm gonna be shouting out the Jags in that pod. But yeah, I'm going on vacation this week. I'm gonna go take myself to the beach.
There you go, man. That sounds like a nice way to celebrate Halloween and the Halloween weekend, dude. Enjoy. What do you got, Brian? What's going on this weekend down in the nation's capital?
I mean, apparently kids don't trick or treat anymore.
Well, you also don't you like live in a gated off like apartment complex where nobody's going to get in there anyway?
Kids live in the apartment complex.
I mean, I guess, dude.
Yeah, I
I
bought
don't
all the
know.
candy last year, and I was hoping to at least have one kid knock on my door, hand him a chocolate bar.
Yeah, so Brian, you will be handing out candy to little kids this weekend?
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
Hopefully you get some young children to knock on your door so you can give them candy.
Yeah, you definitely look the friendliest out of all of us.
You look, dude, this is the only weekend where you can get away with just saying something so creepy and weird like that.
I just don't want to buy $60 worth of candy again, and then just no one come to pick it up.
Who the hell buys $60 worth of candy for fucking
Dude,
Halloween?
shit's expensive. Inflation.
Dude, buy a bag, and when you run out, you run out. What are you fucking feeding the whole neighborhood?
I thought I would.
Yo,
Jeez, dude.
tell
Buy a fucking $5-10 worth, and when tell them to take one, please. You hand out the candy, and when you're done, you're done. Turn all the lights off in your house so they know that this house is done. $60 worth of candy. Jeez, dude.
Unbelievable.
Fucking outrageous. But yeah, Jack, sounds like you got a pretty electric weekend set up on vacation. Brian, pretty electric weekend handing out candy to little kids. I don't think I'll be handing out candy. Not sure I really have any crazy plans. I usually don't get dressed up or do anything nuts. I might have a little Halloween thing Saturday. I might be attending. But yeah, man, I'm getting old. The whole going out thing and sitting in packed bars is taking a toll on me. So, there's nothing wrong with taking a chill weekend. I'm sure maybe Saturday I might hit this party and, maybe get dressed up, maybe do something with the mustache because I got that going on. And then hopefully the Eagles don't butcher it to the Commanders on Sunday, which, considering I had a pretty much abysmal week for the city of Philadelphia, I'm not particularly ready to endure that. But other than that, that's all I got. It was the midweek show. Make sure everybody follows all of our socials. We're handing out free picks. Brian's stuttering with his camera. You get it all here, dude. You really get it all here. We'll have an update on how many pieces of candy Brian handed out to young children. We will have it all next time we hop on to the midweek show. Hopefully we get some good, NBA content going, NHL content, probably not much of that, but Real quick, the Flyers do look electric. We're not going to jump into that, but they do look electric. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're already like fucking 20% of the way to the total wins that I had them at. I think I had them at like 22 wins, and I think they already have like 3 or 4. So that's interesting. Yeah, other than that, man, I hope everybody has a fun, safe Halloween weekend. Like I said, make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, all the socials. We're always tweeting. And, you don't want to miss a free pick because we've been pretty hot. So definitely check out for that. That's all I got. You guys got any closing remarks before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, just going on your train right there. Shout out my boy Josh Allen for throwing over 1.5 touchdowns against the Patriots. I know they didn't win the game, but he hit that for me. That was my 3-unit play of the weekend. So shout out Josh Allen for making my big dog hit. Yeah.
Take it on 3.
We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.